Jai Shri Krishna. So today I'm actually going to kind of break down Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma for people who don't understand. Okay. Feel free to put your comments in the comment section as well. Do follow the channel for notifications. And I also teach free Vedic astrology classes every Wednesday, 7:20 p.m. Central Time. There is also recordings and you can come to live sessions as well. All right? Okay. Sanatana Dharma is kind of connected or synonymous with Hinduism. Okay, the word Hinduism you don't see in any of the Vedas and Puranas, or the word even Hindu. Okay, Sanatana Dharma is what is mentioned in across consistently the Vedas and the Puranas, including the Rig Veda, right? Including the Srimad Bhagavatam and Mahabharat, all of those books, if you read, you will see that. Okay, so what is Sanatana Dharma? Sanatana Dharma says many things, okay? Many things, and I'm going to break it step by step. It may not be even one video, yeah? Okay, there is no end or no beginning, right? Like no beginning, no end kind of a thing, okay? Think of a circle you go, right? You start and you finish and you keep on going. There's no like start and end, right? A circle. Think of similar way the book says is our universe is one among many universe, right? And if you really see Sagittarius Rashi, right, is kind of considered the center of the entire multiple universes, all universes. Sagittarius becomes the center and Mula Nakshatra forms that point. Okay, all right. Just the same way, for our world, we have Brahma, right? There are multiple Brahmas also as a creator for other universe. And it is also interesting, right? You don't find many Brahma temples in India, right? You have one in Pushkar in Rajasthan. You have Brahmapurishwara temple. You can count 1, 2, 3 maximum, right? You don't find that. And there is a reason why Brahma as a creator, you don't have temples. And I will do that a separate video also, okay? Hinduism is very much aligned. So Hinduism, Sanatana Dharma, same. Okay, when I use these two words, they are the same, right? They're synchronized. It's very much aligned with science and validated by science. Okay, think of this way. Just the same way in Hinduism, we have so many gods, right? We have so many gods, right? Think of science. You have so many scientists who has contributed to physics. You cannot say who is the father of physics. You cannot say who is the father of chemistry, father of math, father of biology. You cannot say the father of any subject for the matter, because you have multiple people who have contributed. Think of the periodic table, right? So many elements there, close to 120, 130 elements, right? So many people have contributed. You don't have one person who's contributed for the whole periodic table. And then, of course, even within the periodic table, there were multiple people who came and changed it, right? Mendeleev was one of the one, right? Then there's a modern periodic table. A lot of those things changes happened, reformations happened. Okay, then we have the geocentric, heliocentric theory, right? Geocentric is where you have sun in the center and all the planets around. This is what Hinduism says, our Vedas says, Surya Siddhanta also says. And this is where if you go to the temple, you will see sun is fixed in the center, all the planets revolving around the sun, right? You can see that in a Navagraha temple. Very similar. This has been said back so many years before, right? Where there was no telescope, there was no any scientific objects to validate. You know, initially, if you see, Aristotle came up with the Helocentric model, where he's put Earth in the center and all the planets revolving, right? And then, which is Helocentric. And then after Aristotle, it became, Kepler and Copernicus, right? All of them kind of aligned, Galileo as well, with the telescope coming in and everything. They said sun is in the center. So you see how science has also changed from the original theory of heliocentric to geocentric. But this is what Vedic astrology says. This is what Hinduism says. And you can see it in a Hindu temple. All right. Now, interestingly, I will add more. I moved to the US from India during the year 98. Okay, when I came here, right, I had a swastika with me. Okay, and then I have to get rid of the swastika because I was told I'll be arrested and put in jail as well, because swastika is associated as fascism, Nazi party, right? Adolf Hitler, right? Now, swastika is a Hindu object, okay? It was a Hindu object. And you see that in Hindu temples. And Hindu people, many of them don't know what is the significance of swastika. See, the swastika is associated with the 7 stars in that, which is associated with the Saptarishi Mandala, including the Dhruv pole star. Okay, and you'll have Arundhati also in that with Vashishta. So the swastika is associated with the Saptarishi Mandala, right? That is where the sacredness and the power comes, right? More than many people in India know this. Hitler and the Germans knew this during the 1930s and 40s. And they came and they took the symbol for the luck and the power and misused it. So today, what is the outcome? Right? As a Hindu, I cannot have a swastika, right? It's a problem today because they have taken it, they have taken the Hindu symbol, right? It's got nothing to do with Hitler or the Germans, right? They're not Hindus here, but they have misused the symbol. They've used it and misused it both in a way that it's considered bad and negative today. Okay? I hope you get that, right? Okay. Now, when I came to India the last year and the previous year, I saw there were so many churches in Tamil Nadu, even in Chennai, even near suburbs of Chennai, even Tirunelveli, all those places, right, using Hindu symbols. Why are they using Hindu symbols? Like what Adolf Hitler did, right? They're using the stamba and many symbols. This tall pole with a plus sign on it. It's a stamba. Stamba is part of the temple, right? Are you really, why are they adopting it, right? So a stamba is nothing but a portal in a Hindu temple, which is like a sacred column. And it represents what is called as the axis mundi. Okay, so what is the axis mundi is? It's a connection, excuse me, it's a connection between heaven and earth. Okay, heaven and earth. So you can see, now in Hinduism, we use the word Om for all the prayers and mantras. And our Vedas and Puranas says, at the creation of the universe, it was not a big bang, but a sound called Now, Om is also said where you don't need your tongue or anything in the human body. Without a tongue, you can use that word because it is the sound of the universe. It is at the time of creation, and as you also go into the universe, you will hear that humming sound. Okay, all right, that's a Hindu word. So if you see in all the mantras, I say today is Friday. Om Mahalakshmiye Namaha. Right? Om Shukraya Namaha. Om Briguve Namaha. Right? So in a way, you see, you start with Om. Even Vishnu Sahasranama says Om, then Shuklam Paradaram Vishnu. Right? Okay. So now in Judaism, they use the word Shalom, Shalom. Then in Christianity, they use the word Amen. And in Islam, they use the word Amen. Is that a coincidence? You tell me. I don't know, right? See all where the knockoff has happened. Is that a knockoff? I don't know. You tell me, right? Okay. In Hinduism, we have so many books and knowledge, right? And we have Brahma, the creator, and then the Parabrahma, right? Parabrahman is nothing but the supreme Brahman in Hindu philosophy, which represents the ultimate, formless, right? And the absolute reality that exists beyond all descriptions, form, and Maya, Chaya, Maya, everything. Okay? We know that. Now, if you see, there is a word called Abraham, is also mentioned in all the Abrahamic religions. Is that a coincidence? Is that a coincidence? I don't know. You tell me, right? Everything is being, kind of taken from Hinduism in a way, right? Like a plagiarism, right? Plagiarize, right? Okay, we'll go more. Hinduism and Vedic astrology, right, says very clearly that in this yuga, the living time period duration is 120 years, 120. Okay, and it says also why. It tells why. It gives you a calculation. It gives the dasas. It gives, each planet dasa, starting from Ketu 7 years. Then you have Venus 20, right? Then you have Sun 6. You have Moon 10, Mars 7, Rahu 18, Jupiter 16, Saturn 19, Mercury 17. If you add, you will get 120. Right? But here is the catch. The 120 years, it says that it's 360 days a year, not 365. Okay, so when somebody is living 80 years, means it's 80 years times 360 and not 365. So there is a 5 days delta here, right? So we will discuss that in another video later. Okay, so it says that. Now the question is, so it tells you all the breakdown clearly, okay? If you read the Bible says, if you go to Genesis 6-2, it says human life is 120 years. But it doesn't say anything more than that. Where did they get the 120? I don't know. Nobody knows it, right? But it says 120. But I said in Hinduism and Vedic astrology, the 120 breakdown is given completely. All right? Okay. Next, Hindu calendar, right? Hindu calendar. Hindu calendar starts, the year starts either in March or April. Okay? If we take March, see the counting, okay? March is 1st, April, May, June, July, August, September is the 7th, October is the 8th, November is the 9th, December is the 10th, January is the 11th, February is the 12th. So it aligns beautifully and correctly to September as 7th, Septa, Octa, octopus, octagonal, everything with 8, Nav with 9, right? Decimal, decade, December 10, 11, 12, right? Now this calendar was all changed by the Roman Church, the Vatican Church and everything, the Gregorian model, the Gregorian calendar, the Julian calendar, all of it came, right? Only they should clarify, why are we following it wrong today? Because September is not the 7th month, it's the 9th. October is not the 8th month, but the 10th. November is not the 9th month, but 11th. December is not the 10th, but the 12th month. Why are we following things wrong? If the Western world really thought that, especially the Vatican and all of them, right, said that this is the right way of following, why is the nomenclature wrong? Right? So my point is, right? My point is, there is a lot of things which have been changed. Okay? There's a lot of things. And just because change for the good is correct, change for the wrong thing is totally wrong and a disaster. Okay, we'll come to caste system next. All right? Okay, caste system in India, if you see, it's kind of used to insult Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma. Okay, this is the absolute truth. And it's also a revelation in a way, because people have misused it, misinterpreted it. Okay, this is the fact, this is the truth. Okay, now caste system, right? The so-called caste system we call is connected to birth today, with the way it's being used, but it's wrong, right? They also say that Dalits were banned from temples for many generations, etc., right? So we'll kind of put some light to that today. If you see the origin of the caste system, it goes to Rig Veda. Okay, in Rig Veda, it uses a Varna system, and it's actually a function or a framework. Okay, and in Rig Veda, it's typically written by hymns, multiple lines hymns, right? Hymns is like a recital, like a way to, sing kind of a thing, right? And it's called Purusha Shukta, right? And it's a cosmic being, and it mentions about 4 classes. Okay, it Of course, we know the four classes, right? Brahmins, right? Then you have the Kshatriyas, you have the Vaishyas, and you have the Shudras. Okay. Now, it says that if you read a little bit um, further, it says that the Brahmins come from the mouth, the Kshatriyas from the arms, okay, the Vaishyas from the thighs, and the Shudras from the feet. Okay. Now, very important to note, we all have only one mouth. Okay. But we have two arms, we have two thighs, and 2 feet, which also signifies one important thing: talk less, right? Use your mouth for less, maybe for reciting, chanting, and speak less and listen more. Use the other body parts. But today it is also deciphered as, at some point, and I will also say later what it is, but mouth is greater than the feet, because mouth is on top, feet is in the bottom. But in a way, you need all the body parts. You need all the body parts. You cannot function without a mouth. You cannot function without a feet. You cannot function without hands or thighs. Okay. Now, Lord Krishna, right, which Jai Shri Krishna, he is my Kuladevata. Lord Krishna uses the fourfold system, right? Also, if you see, right, he says very clearly in Bhagavad Gita, the fourfold system is created by me, and it's purely based on your dharma and karma. And that is what Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma is. It's all about dharma and karma. Okay? Dharma and karma. You actually are born in this birth to fulfill your karmic birth from all your past birth. Okay? And only by doing dharma, you can burn your karma, right? Even in the current birth. Okay? So I will do a video specifically on different types of dharma, including dana, right? I will do a video on that later. All right. Okay. So Lord Krishna says the divisions are purely based on quality and action, not by birth. He clearly says it. Okay. And in Bhagavad Gita, you should go and look at 4-13. Okay. Now, he also says that all the souls, all the children are my children. Okay. And they are born equal. It is the mind, right, what has been given to a human to kind of follow what is right and wrong. So that is where soul as sun and moon as mind. So the differentiation comes from the mind, the moon, not from the soul. And soul is the birth. Okay. All right. Now, you also come back to stories like Sage Vishwamitra, who is one of my favorite Saptarishi, Brahma Rishi as well. You can see one of the videos I have put in the channel. And clearly, he says very clearly, right, not only he shows that he is come from a king, a Kshatriya, who becomes a Brahman. Okay. And today, Brahmins and priests, have the Jano, and they do the Gayatri mantras because of him. Okay, so it's already shown in the past that how people have moved from a warrior class to a Brahman class. Same thing, Parashurama, who is also one of my favorite, right? Who was born as a rishi, right? And then he becomes a warrior, and he goes around the world 21 times. Okay, 21 times, killing all the Kshatriyas who were doing wrong things. Okay, now I will tell you that Lord Parashurama is a Chiranjeevi. He's still alive. To people who do adharma and Hinduism and Sanatana Dharma, right? All those things, I will tell you, Sage Parashurama is alive. Okay, he's a Chiranjeevi. So is Ashwatthama. Okay. Now, Lord Krishna, coming back, okay, speaks about Krishna, Dharma, Sanatana, okay, in Mahabharata. Okay, in Mahabharata, there is the words, which is in Sanskrit at the end of chapter 86. Okay, it is in a place called Aranyakarpava. Okay, it's in Sanskrit. I'm going to say it slowly, right? Sanatana Dharma, defined from Mahabharata, chapter 86. Okay, so it is called as Yacha Veda Vido Vipra, Yachadma Vido Jana, Ta Vedanti Mahatmanam, Shanam or Krishnam Dharmam Sanatanam. Krishna Dharmam Sanatanam. This is in Sanskrit. To all the Sanskrit scholars, right? I'm sure I've not said it the right way. I really apologize to people because I don't know Sanskrit, unfortunately. Okay, but this is what it says. Okay, now again, as I said, Hinduism word is not used in Hindu text. It's all about Sanatana Dharma. Okay, and then Dharma Karma. Now I'll tell you one more thing. Okay, that is a temple called Nachiyar Kovil, Nachiyar Temple. It is in a place called near Kumbhakonam. Okay, and it is called Nayaru Nambi Temple. I'm sure saying it wrong. It's called Narayur Nambi Temple. Okay, it is about deity called Tulakachi Nachiyar, a legendary figure, right, who was the Muslim daughter of a Sultan king, right, who was worshipped at a concert to Ranganatha in Sri Rangam. Okay, this is where cultures blend. Okay, see, Hinduism has got more than 100 gods. Taking one god, two gods from Abrahamic faith between, Jesus or, Yahweh, right? Tetromeraton, right? YHWH, Yahweh, or even Allah is not a problem. But there is no coexistence for Abrahamic religions. That's the problem here, right? Because they're all looking for conversions and there's no coexistence. You look at how, mosques are built on top of temples. My worry is if we start going and doing research on these mosques, at some point you may not find any mosque in India because they're typically built on temples, right? This is the fact. Let's accept it. See what happened to the one in Turkey, right? The Hagia Sophia, right? It used to be a church and now there is a mosque. Same thing, you come to Israel, West Bank side, you see the same thing, Palestine, West Bank as well, right? So this is the fact. Okay, now coming back to Sanatana Dharma, there has been a lot of system corruption. Okay, think of ego, greed, power, self-interest, and very high amount of jealousy. Okay, certain set of groups, families establish themselves, okay, as the head like a king, and their children as part of the same class. Okay, they because of the power they had access to temples, right? Temples and the knowledge and the wealth and political influence, and then comes greed and social status with it to support. Okay, this happened not only in one of the classes, it happened in all the classes, okay, for social control. And then there's a word which came, right, which was called jati, right? Jati is birth, right? Now Varna system is really a broader framework, okay, and a broader framework from Rig Veda, from Mahabharata, everywhere, okay? But people started breathing life with jati as the prana, okay, right? Jati basically comes from what is your family and birthplace, okay? Your family root and birthplace by birth. Now, they say that the original divide and rule was actually built by the Romans, okay, the divide and rule, okay? But when the British came to India, certain British head people back then said, we are going to take the divide and rule and make it as a British, secret sauce, okay? And we will use this in India. So the British took the old system and they took it to the next level, the old system of Varna system. So it all happened in the 1871 census, okay? So the British collected all the people, asked in India, all the Indians, and they said, we want to put a caste to everybody in 1871. Go dig your records, okay? They now killed all the local identities and brought into the jati system, right? And you have to be in one among this, okay? And then they had the people like even the, so it was like trying to fit all the population in a room, which is not possible, right? That is what they did. It's like a rebranding for their convenience. Okay. Now think about people who in India and Hinduism who always, been against these kind of things. Think about, I can think of the Reformations, Ramanujam, Sri Raghavendra Swami, Adi Shankaracharya. I explained even about the Tulkachi Nachiyar as well. Mirabai, right, who was a Rajput princess and adopted a lower caste, right, like a saint as a teacher in a way. Okay, think of Kannappa, who is a hunter, right, who prays to Shiva, right? The reality is just the way only a woman, see, there are only two things, right, man and woman, simple. Only a woman can get pregnant, right? Think of fire. Fire always has heat and light. Water has cold and fluidity, right? Sun has got light and moon has got the darkness. These are all pranas, what they breathe, what is inside, right? Moon has got cold, comfort, darkness, right? So this is Sanatana Dharma. What is the prana? What is the truth inside? Okay? It is all about eternal truth, speaking the truth. See, Hinduism is the only religion where mother takes precedence over God. It says Mata, Pita, Guru, Devam. Mata, Pita, Guru, Bhagavan. The God comes last. Mother comes first, father, guru, teacher, and then God. Okay? Now, this is kind of what it is, right? This is how beautiful Hinduism is. So look at some of the parties, right? Political parties in India, anywhere, including Tamil Nadu, Delhi, wherever it is. You can clearly see that they follow a hierarchy. If one is a CM, their son will become the next CM. And their son's son will become a CM. So the lineage goes. So these are the people who are following the system. You cannot have an elder person or a senior person in the party who's been for so many years. You cannot become a CM because the hierarchy is within the family. So this is a family control. This is exactly family control. Okay. Now, I will tell you that I am very proud to be a Hindu, right? A Hindu. And I am a follower of Sanatana Dharma. Okay, I do understand people are misusing the details, misinterpreting it, creating confusion and division, right? Unfortunately, this has happened from the 1871 census I mentioned. It is also happening now, right? I mean, go and see what happened in 1871, right? The census, you will get your answer. And it was done by the British people, okay? I also believe that all Hindus are the same. Okay, we're all the same by birth, right? And we should support all other Hindus, okay? All other Hindus, and even support, people. Doesn't matter Dalit, schedule. It doesn't really matter. Hindus are Hindus, simple. Okay, that is why you also have a system of Kula Devata, Ishta Devata, Grama Devata, right? So Hindus are Hindus. I mean, so I hope this clarifies. This is video 1. I'll come back soon with video 2. Yeah, Jai Shri Krishna.